Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unleash Her. I'm Roberta, and I'm your host for this podcast. And I am so grateful that you're here. Thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to introduce you to my guest for today. But before I do, make sure that you are following and subscribing to this podcast. If you're on Spotify or Apple, hop on over to YouTube so you can see our faces. We would love to see you there, and make sure to subscribe. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Miss Kim Mosiman. She is a loving wife, mom, and grandma. She's an author and a coach, and Kim specializes in empowering women embarking on their second act. I love this. This is my sister here. She is a nutritionalist with certifications from Precision Nutrition and the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and a wellness coach. With her faith-driven approach and experience as a gym owner, Kim offers a unique blend of spiritual and physical wellness. Her book, Reflections of Joy, provides practical faith-infused strategies to inspire strength, beauty, and holistic growth in every aspect of life. Oh my goodness, without further ado, welcome, Kim.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here. That
I
sounds,
am
as I listened to someone read my bio, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
right. I
Yeah. Yeah.
know. I love this. I can't wait to get into this. So do us a favor and tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, you covered a lot of
Well,
things. I feel like I've been the jack of all trades in my life. I started out working in restaurants, started college, decided that wasn't for me, went back into the restaurants, got married, had a baby, life's trips and turns and all those things. And and when I was approaching 40, it was kind of like, all we're talking about in the house is either work, the restaurants, which we did together, or the boys, which we did together, right? And so I ventured out on my own. My husband, gave me his blessing to try something new. And I opened a gym and I met all these amazing people. But the thing that I discovered about myself through the process is in helping other people. I learned that that's what I was meant to do. I was meant to be a coach, whether it's in parenting, in running a restaurant, in working in a gym with people, I was meant to be a coach. And then when that time ended, I kind of figured out I had to coach myself, which led us into this state of life I am right now. And I am for sure, I have been my own worst client ever. But yeah, I was so excited to stumble on your podcast because you really champion women in this stage of life that I'm in and that I'm so passionate about. So I'm excited to talk to you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. You have done a lot in the past few years. And
Hmm.
so, how did that? So, you started this journey of,
Hmm.
figuring out yourself. Same thing for me. You call it, don't you call it second act or something?
Yeah.
I saw it
Yep. Yep.
somewhere.
Yep.
Love
The kids are
that.
gone. My husband's not here. I don't have to do anything because the house doesn't get messy. Nobody eats like they used to eat, right? There's not as much laundry as there was. What am I going to do with myself now? Yes, in my second act, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it was for me too, becoming an empty nester, And so now I'm not to the grandma stage yet, and so
Mm,
I can't wait for that. Um
yeah.
but so how so where did how did that look? So you said, you went into the coaching and
Hmm.
you so what were some of the things that you learned from, I guess, yourself, from coaching yourself? Is that how this all evolved? You're like, if I can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it did because I was as a coach, I was great at seeing the potential in my clients. But then once that business ended and the gym was closed and I didn't have people that I could focus my attention on, I just looked in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw. And after, I mean, I think a lot of women and some men go through that in life. You hit that certain age and, maybe you're not working anymore and you're not caring for the kids and your body is not the same as it's always been. And you just look at yourself and you think, yuck. And rather than allowing myself to sit and settle in the yuck, I just started working with myself the same way I had with my clients for 10 years. I'm really focusing on not only movement, but food and community. And my faith blossomed out of that. I'd always been a believer, but it really blossomed during that time. And I journaled, and that's where Reflections of Joy came to be, is through my experiences going through that, reconnecting with myself and kind of getting my health back.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah.
well, so for the people, that don't understand, like you give credit to your faith
hmm
for making the journey towards better health more sustainable. So tell us about that. How does faith involved in health?
Kind of stumbled on it. I was journaling. I've always encouraged my clients to record things. It's hard to remember what you ate and you felt amazing, or what you ate and you felt terrible, or what you were feeling at a time. So I've always journaled, and I had this pretty little guided journal someone had given me, and I turned the page one day in the midst of feeling awful about myself, and I'm writing, and at the top of the page it says, "You are altogether beautiful, my love. There is no flaw in you," from the Song of Solomon. And it just hit. It hit. I've read it a million times in the Bible. I mean, several verses, created in his image, perfect, flawless, wonderful. But yet it's hard for us to look in a mirror and see it in ourselves. Take that and compare it to our lives as mothers. You look at your daughter or your sons, and you see no flaw. They're beautiful and perfect, even when they're not. Imagine how God feels about us. And it just really turned my sights around. And I am beautiful, even if I'm 30 pounds overweight. I am worthy, even if I don't have a job today. You know, I mean, like all the things, right? And so it did turn things around for me. Instead of it just being, oh, poor me, look at the state I'm in, it really becomes, oh, lucky me, right? No matter who in this world thinks about me or loves me or talks to me in a certain way. And a lot of great people, don't get me wrong, but I'm always loved. And that makes it worth um, pushing forward, right? Even when I'm having a crappy day, I can talk to God. I can tell him anything. I don't have to filter it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to do whatever. And I just started to see my life turning around because I was doing it for the right reasons. I was doing it to be here, to be healthy, to be present, and to be um, engaged, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a new thing. Yeah.
One of the things that I did is I got rid of my scales. I said,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't, I am not defined by a number.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
It's
I,
so
I,
hard to do though, wasn't it? Didn't it kill you?
no, I'm pretty, now I'm just like, do I look okay? Well, do your
hmm
clothes fit, first of all? And not do
hmm
I look okay, but I mean, you can tell by your clothes
hmm
how your clothes fit for one thing.
Yep.
So that's great. And so if you can look in the mirror, like you said, it's looking at yourself and saying, wait a minute.
hmm
Wait, I am beautiful. I love myself. God made me for who I am. I have to
Yep.
embrace this. We're all
Yep.
different. And we spend most of our lives comparing. I did it,
hmm Yep.
and I was heavy growing up. Like I've always kind of dealt with extra weight. I've never
hmm
been thin a day in my life, but I am okay with that. And it's
Yeah.
not it is such a journey and a process. And I love that. You do that journaling. And once you do that, it'll pull stuff out of you, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And I learned something in the restaurant business. My husband and I used to to gather our teams together after a big lunch rush or whatever, and we talk about wells and betters. That we just, hey, let's do our wells and betters. What went well today? And then what could we do better? And I tried to teach my clients, and I do it every day with myself. I look in the mirror, and it's maybe not wells and betters, but what do I like? What's good? Like I've got great hair, you know?
Yeah.
I've got good eyes. No matter what I weigh, my legs are good. And so those are my wells. Those are the things I like. What would I like to be different? Maybe I'd like to lose a few pounds. Maybe I'd like to tone up, my 60-year-old arms. Whatever the case may be, but if we start our day and we start our focus on ourselves with something really good, something that we love, those things we want to change are just that. They're not bad. They're just things that we want to change. And it goes along with the scale, not measuring yourself based on a number, right? Because every day is different. And I just think if a person can get to a place where they look at themselves and they think, huh, okay, there are things I like, life is so much better.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good. It's finding the things that you love about yourself today and knowing
Hmm.
that you can want, more or to do better or to look better
Hmm.
or to feel better.
Yep.
And so you do, like in your book, you talk about body responsibility.
Hmm. Hmm.
So how does that
Yeah.
differ from body positivity?
Well, I think for me, body positivity is a given. It's everyone, like we just talked, everyone is worthy of love. Everybody is beautiful in every condition, right? I mean, it just is. We are made for something more. But that being said, we have a responsibility to care for ourselves. We have a responsibility to be healthy as we can be. Um, and that fits within the parameters of each person's life. What can you spend? What do you have time for? What is your body capable of today? Um, I'm not asking anyone that I work with to compare themselves to a world-class athlete or someone who home cooks every single meal and has a garden out back. I mean, that's not what I'm saying, but we have a responsibility to do the best for ourselves that we can. And I think if we live our lives thinking that way instead of the whole, I can be anything. Yes, I can be anything. But at 400 pounds, 500 pounds, 600 pounds, there's no way that you can be as healthy for your body. Our bodies aren't meant to be like that. And so I just think we have to work hard to be as healthy as we can be.
Yeah, me too. And it's one day at a time. Don't look at the big picture, just set smaller goals, I think was good too. Just
Mm-hmm.
one day at a time because we want it now, don't we?
We do. We do.
We want it to be easy and we want it now. But that
Hmm.
journey helps evolve you to, who you've always wanted to be. But
Exactly.
so we're in the like empty nester age, right? So we don't have to
Hmm.
worry about cooking for others and all that. So like what advice do you give to the woman who's trying to make healthy changes but is struggling to get her family on board?
It's hard now because it's just the two of us. When it was the kids' home, we just I cooked one thing, and they either liked it or they didn't. I didn't. Um, there were a lot of times where I cooked a central protein, and maybe the boys had a different side than my husband and I did, or maybe they'd have tacos and I'd have a salad, with the taco meat on it. I think if you communicate with your people and you tell them what your goals are, and you tell them why things are important to you, most of the time they'll jump on board. I mean, my boys started cooking. In my book, I talk about boys' night where they would pick out recipes and I would shop for them and they'd come home and they'd cook and then I'd have to clean up. We kind of role reversaled it. You can teach them to like good foods. But if all of a sudden, like if you've lived a life of macaroni and cheese and hot dogs and a ho ho for dessert, and all of a sudden you, mom, decide I'm going to make a change and you just slam dunk that on your family, you're going to meet resistance. So I think we have to ease in. We have to start changing things slowly. And I think it's just important to always be upfront. You can avoid a lot of problems if you tell them things ahead of time. No
Yeah.
surprises, no surprises. And it's the same with my husband now that it's an empty nest. I mean, like if I'm cooking something new and I'm suspicious that he might not love it, I always preface it with, "Hey, found a new recipe. I'd really like to try this. Are you on board?" And it usually goes a little bit better than if it just like set it down in front of him. So,
And I love that. And then sometimes, it's like, well, giving options or giving a couple of choices, right, is a good thing.
hmm
But maybe telling them too, like I've done a lot of research on health and nutrition and being like, do you know what this does for you? You know,
hmm
like give it a
hmm
try. Put a little
yeah,
something on here if you need it on your broccoli or whatever.
yeah, right. Well, and that approach though is so much better than saying, "Oh my gosh, do you know what's in that?" I
Mhm.
mean, like enhance the positives of what you're trying to get them to eat rather than cut down what they love.
I
Because they can still
yeah,
have what they love once in a while. Yeah.
yeah. I might tend to still do that. Do
Mhm.
you know how bad
I
that
do too
is?
once in a while. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So what are your like daily habits that are non-negotiables as you continue your journey?
Yeah. Um, I've entered a new phase where I'm coaching and sometimes those of us who coach or we're helpers, we get pulled into other people's lives pretty easily. So routine is critical. Otherwise, I can pick up my phone in the morning and I have five needs that take their place over mine. So I try very hard to wake up every day with and do go through the same motion. So I wake up and drink a cup of water or a glass of water while I'm making my coffee, and I sit down and I write. It's the first thing that I do. I write and I write. I follow a very loose form of Julia Cameron's practice of the artist way, where I do morning pages. And it's 3 pages in my journal, and I just dump my brain, whatever's in there. It doesn't have purpose. It doesn't necessarily go towards a new book. It doesn't anything. It just clears the cobwebs. And then I feel like I have a better capacity to read my Bible or to pray or to meditate and to really focus. Because for me, until I started dumping my brain, first thing, I'd try to meditate or I would try to pray, but I'd be mid sentence and I'd be thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot to pull this out of the freezer. Or, oh my gosh, I forgot to send this yesterday. And I just had this to-do list. And now that my brain is empty, I feel like I can really submerge myself into what I need to be doing next. So that was a long way to say, this is what I do. I drink water, I write, I pray, and then I walk. And then once those things are done, my day is ready for whoever needs me and whatever direction it may go.
Mm, yeah, so beautiful. We have very
Yeah.
similar mornings too. How long do you spend doing this?
It just depends. I make it fit. Like I would rather do it and make it fit in my day than be rigid and just have to skip it. So if I have to take my mom or dad to an appointment and that's scheduled earlier than I would normally be working with clients, I'm s- I might write for half an hour, and I might pray for 15. Um, But if I have all morning and I don't have any clients booked and nothing, I might use up 3 hours. I just try to let it go. I know that it's not very practical for the person who still has a job or whatever. And I'm reading a book now for a client and she allows herself, you know, she fits in 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here. And because it's time bound, she always is able to get it done. Uh, We have to find what works for us. That's the thing that causes so many of us to fail is we think somebody might be listening to us and you might spend an hour and I might spend 2 hours and they're like, well, I can't do that. So they don't even try. What if they have 15 minutes? It's a place to start.
Yes, exactly. And when you see such a difference in yourself, you don't want to miss that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
You'll
You're
take, if
right.
it's 5 minutes, if you have 5 minutes, you will make it work. Same thing for me. I go in, I have a Zen room, it's my quiet space. And I go in there. And
Hmm.
if I have 5 minutes, I will go read, a daily passage devotional,
Hmm.
because I'm sorry, there's no excuses. We can all do this. So I love what you're
Hmm.
doing.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just have to find those times of quiet and
Yeah.
recovery, quite frankly. I mean, you may just be hopping up out of bed, but you should start the day with intention to care for yourself as much as you care for other people. And if it's
Yeah.
5 minutes, it's still 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so in your book, um, in the final chapter,
Hmm.
it's you appropriately called Let Go. All right. Now
Yeah.
you share stories of learning and adventure.
Hmm.
So, what do you think women need to know and how to let this help them ease into what, you call the second act?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like in our first stage of life, we are just busy going through the motions of what people tell us we're supposed to do. Obviously, we have to be responsible citizens. Some of us get married, some of us don't, but we have to provide for ourselves. We have to pay our bills. We have to take care of ourselves, all those things. And when we reach our second act, I feel like we're carrying all the baggage of that. And for
Mm,
some women, they feel such a loss because they don't see the opportunities when they can put those bags down, right? And being a mom was certainly not baggage. I loved every moment of it, but it was something I had to carry for all those years. I can set those bags down and I can move forward. You got to let go of fear, right? I'm no longer responsible physically for the safety of someone else. I can go out into the world. I can try new things. Can't be afraid to learn things. My brain may be older, it may work differently, and it may be slower, but I can still learn new things. I have time to create. I spent money on my kids. What could I spend that on me? And there
mm,
was no ROI, right? In buying soccer shoes, there was no return on investment for that, right? But we did it because we wanted our kids to experience and grow and things. What's wrong with spending some money on ourselves? Whether you want to learn Taekwondo or Tai Chi, or you want to learn how to paint or become a photographer or write a book for Pete's sakes, we just we have to let go of everything that's in our head saying, I'm too old, I'm not smart enough, I haven't been trained, all the things. And it's just, I think this time of life is so great and it gets such a bad rap. I mean, heck,
mm.
if I didn't want to take care of my husband, right? I mean, I take, you know what I'm saying. I don't
Yeah.
take care of him, but like I cook a meal and we're gonna share that meal together, or I do the laundry
Yeah.
because we share the home together. But he doesn't need me, and and so why not explore some of the things that I always thought, that would have been nice, or oh, I wish I would have done that. This is the time to let go of everything. And the comparison that you were talking about, who cares if somebody else started doing what you want to do 20 years ago? They were a rookie once upon a time too. They're podcasters, right? I mean, like, how old were you when you started podcasting? You know,
55.
okay, 55. And there are people out there who are like like in their 30s who have been doing this ever since they left college, right? And they're experts and they're pros and whatever, but it doesn't stop you. And how much fun do you have and how many cool people have you met? I just think this is the best time. Most we use some resources on just filing everything from your past, living, take those experiences and take the knowledge you've gained, but go do something fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, that just like took me back. And I want to say, when people are like, "Oh, is there anything you would do different?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so if I asked you if there anything different that you would do? Is there anything you would change about your past or how the decisions you made?
No, I don't think so. And it was certainly a roller coaster. I mean, I've lived a great life, and I have, but I made mistakes, and but no regrets. I learned something through every mistake that I walked through. Um, and I've taken some of those mistakes and tried to turn them around and make something good out of it, right? Digging in the
Right.
dirt so the flowers can bloom. Hmm.
Yeah. Is it,
Yeah.
that's what I'm like, was it, it's not, it's learning experience.
Hmm.
Learn. Did you learn your lesson? If you made a bad decision, did you learn your lesson? I think that's a lot about just faith, our connection to God too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do a thing different.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. Oh my goodness. So how
Uh,
has your health journey, how's it different now than it was 15 years ago? I'm curious.
Um, I don't see results as quickly as I did. I mean, like as we age, remember the days where you like just didn't eat any carbs for a couple days and all of a sudden like you felt like $1 million and thought you looked better. Um, as I get older, I realize that it's the marathon. You should take good care of yourself. You should eat right. There are no quick fixes. So I enjoy the things I want. I have a piece of cake when I want to. I have a glass of wine when I want to. But for the most part, I eat healthy. I move my body. I try to get good sleep. I drink enough water because um, life's my body's just not the same as it was. If and I have to allow for recovery. And that's something I think is really difficult that for people our age who have been active in their younger years is I used to be able to do it. I used to be able to do it. Why can't I do it now? We just have to evolve. Um,
Mhm.
my health is very similar. I probably take care of myself better now than I did when I was younger because I'm more intentional. Um, I have to remind myself that my results are based on health. They're not based on what I see or
Mm.
maybe on performance. I'm never going to run as fast or swim as fast or lift as much. It's not that I can't or someone shouldn't try, but um, yeah, I just have
Yeah.
learned to accept who I am at the stage that I am.
Yeah. That's and just to keep moving and to find what
Hmm.
works for you, right?
And if a person hasn't ever moved, if you've spent your whole life, didn't have the time or you didn't have the desire to move and you had a desk job and you're at a point now where you think, oh, I'd like to start something, they shouldn't be afraid, but start slow. Just start slow. Either find a trainer or a coach or someone to motivate you. And if you want to do it by yourself, just pick up one of the great apps like Couch to 5K, where you're going to go walk for 10 minutes to start and you're going to keep moving yourself up. Be patient. Just take the first step and just start.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier, you have 3 books out now?
I do. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us about those.
Yeah. Well, Reflections of Joy came out last May. It was my first book. And it just opened doors that I didn't realize it would. And publishing a book is great, but you have to share the book. And so I learned how to do some things I didn't know how to do, design on Canva and like be present on social media, all things that, oh, heck, we know, but it's just sharing the pictures of the kids before you have a purpose to sell a book. And I learned that I loved that. And then I had friends that I met going through the process and I started coaching them. And it just kind of evolved into this thing. So my second book is a journal that I created. It's called My Owner's Manual, and I talk about it in my book Reflections of Joy. And I believe that every man and every woman should be able to advocate for themselves as they're moving through life. And life is busy and we don't always remember exactly what happened or what we tried or how we felt. And so I just created a guided journal, a place to write down, hey, today I went for a 3-mile walk and I noticed that I have this glitch in my hip. right? Or I ate this and it upset my stomach, whatever it is. Just a place to record life. So if something breaks down or you're talking to your doctor, you have evidence. We should have evidence, right? Our cars have a manual. We should have one too. So you have to write that. That's number two. Book number two was, that was a long way to say, my owner's manual. And then book number three evolved through this coaching. A good friend and I created a coaching practice called Writer to Writer, where we just link arms with new authors and we teach them how to get their books out into the world, how to engage social media, how to write letters to potential endorsers, how to serve a launch team, all the things that we have to do as authors to get our words out into the world. And so it's been it's been really great. I've met some people I would not have met otherwise, and been able to read some amazing books from new authors. And so, yeah, three books: the workbook, From Writer to Writer, and then Reflections of Joy in a Journal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that. I like that you have this guide. Your
Mm-hmm.
workbook is this guidebook for people that need that, where they can just so I like going to the gym and doing like a group fitness class. I don't have to
Right.
think.
Right. Right. Yes. Ready, Set, Launch is the name of our workbook, and it just takes you through not only identifying your ideal reader, like you wrote a book, you knew who you were speaking to, right? But that woman might not even know you exist. So we work with trying to help people as they're promoting their book find the other people who love your ideal reader or who work with her or who nurture her or who are worried about her, and how to get your message out so that your words are read. We all write for a reason. We all write to help someone else, right? And I think it's just important. And then we move through finding beta readers because other people's opinions are so important when we're writing. If we write in isolation, we write for us, right? But if we write in community, I think our message can serve more people. And so we just walk our writers through that, really teaching them how to promote their book before the book's even released.
That's really important.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yeah.
is that that is the one thing that I felt like I didn't really have a good hold. We were talking about this too, and different ways of publishing. So, I did work with a hybrid publishing company and they did an amazing job.
Hmm.
But the marketing was something that we were pretty much on our own about. And I
Yep.
had a few ideas. She gave me a few things about Podmatch and some places like that to
Yep.
go on to get your story out. But I don't know if you heard the one episode I did where I interviewed this nurse who stumbled upon she had just wrote a book about intuition, and she
Mm.
was at this conference or something. I think it was a virtual conference, and there's a hospital in California that wanted to buy like 6,000 copies.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
Wow.
you never know, do you? And
Mm-mm.
that's why you have to keep yeah, you'll have to check that out. Check that out. Jen Johnson, my episode with her,
Okay.
it was
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
good.
That's
She was
awesome.
she was just like sometimes you're that what do we call something on fire? Like just she just was like had no idea what she was doing, right? She was just talking
Right.
and it just stumbled upon it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we don't
And
know.
sometimes, yeah, exactly. You never know who needs what you have to offer. You never know who needs your story. I have friends who wrote, she was a teacher, then an administrator, and then a curriculum creator, and she wrote this amazing book, right? And all of a sudden now it's been someone found it, read it, loved it, and a college professor, and now he's making it mandatory reading for his coursework.
Mm.
I mean, things like that. And sure, it's still within her field, just like your guest with her book, and it all fits, but would it have happened otherwise? It's just it, this whole thing is so cool. There's so many opportunities and so many people that you don't know, people who are listening to us right now who would have never even bumped into my name on social media, no matter what I did or how hard I danced or whatever. And now they'll know and they'll find something and maybe they can help someone, and it's a snowball effect, right?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
so cool.
And you're just like this perfect guest for my show because Unleasher is about finding confidence, finding your
Mhm,
authentic self, whatever part of your life that could be. For us,
mhm,
it happened to be that second stage, the
mhm.
second act of our lives. And so I appreciate you for being on here
Yeah, yeah,
and
I've enjoyed
sharing
our conversation. This is
and
great.
share like 3 books in a year
Mhm. Well, yeah. I mean, two
ish.
of them, two of them are low content, I mean, they have my heart in them, but there's more. I tried to provide room for you to write so that you could discover what I discovered about myself. But yeah, you can do anything. And be careful though, because if you take that step out and you start doing something new, you have no idea what might come up.
Yes, because you could have a
No
really
idea.
big purpose, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I technically should be retired and it's just not working out. So but that's okay. I'm having fun.
I'm the same. I'm like, retire. Who wants to retire? I don't like that word.
Right, right. It just, well, it's okay some days. It's nice to
Yes.
not have a 9 to 5, but yeah, I'm with you. I'd much rather be meeting people and making a difference.
Yeah, my dad is 85 and he is still working. He works on council. He is on city council. He has wrote I don't know, a few grants in the last couple of years.
Wow. Good for
I know.
him. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's so inspiring.
Hmm.
He ran for mayor a few years
That's
ago.
awesome.
Like, let's go,
I love
Dad.
that. I love that. I've been on school board before. Never thought about the mayor thing. I don't know. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, and I'm going to say this out loud. You know what? I don't know that I have even expressed that to him.
Mm, yeah.
So there's times like this. This has, brought up to me. I need to express to him how proud of him I am.
Hmm.
Because if once we do that, and as I am, I feel like I'm a better communicator the older I
Hmm.
get. I'm learning, okay?
Yes. Yep.
But thank you for that insight that just gave me, like, wow, wait a minute. I am really proud of my dad. And have I told him that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what this is for. That's what
Hmm.
this platform is for. I appreciate that and you sharing your story with us. And you've done so much in just the past few years. You're
Hmm.
such a good example for so many others. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for letting me share and for learning about you too. I mean, it's nice to know that there are people out there with the same hearts and the same thoughts and the same
Yeah.
um, purpose for making other people just
Yeah.
know what's possible.
Exactly. Guys, make sure to reach out um and check out Kim's information here. We'll have everything included below. This woman is on fire
Mm.
in her second act of life. I love it. What an example she is. Thank you so much. And check out her coaching program as well, her workbook that goes with it. Thank you again, Kim. Any last words that you would like to share?
I think we covered a ton. I am just so excited to see what happens next with other people. I love to meet people, whether you want to work together or not. Reach out because we all need good examples and inspiration. So
Yeah,
say hey.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. I appreciate you. Um, so make sure that you're, checking us out. And hey, we are available for sponsorship at this time. Our podcast is growing big time, and we want to sponsor you so that everyone can hear what you want to offer the world. So thank you, everyone, and have a fantastic day. And until next time, we'll see you all soon.